The Zelthron High Commander Vexthul barely glanced up from his tactical display when the reports came in. Another human transport had requested landing clearance on Kepler 442b. The third this cycle. More tourists, his aide, Sub-Commander Nixtal, reported with the characteristic clicking of mandibles that passed for amusement among their species. They claimed to be interstellar sightseers interested in our mining operations. Vexthul's 6 eyes focused momentarily on the datapad. The human ship was laughably small, barely large enough to house 30 beings. Their technology appeared crude, their weapons primitive projectile-based systems that wouldn't scratch Zelthran energy shields. Let them land, he decided, returning to more pressing matters. Station 2 guards at their ship. Standard protocol for inferior species. The humans had been making these visits across Zelthran-occupied worlds for months now. They would arrive, take their primitive image capture devices to various locations, ask simple questions about local flora and fauna, purchase trinkets from trading posts, and leave. The Galactic Council had classified them as a minor spacefaring species with limited territorial ambitions, harmless curiosity seekers from a backwater planet called Earth. Captain Sarah Chen stepped off the transport wanderer's rest with practiced casualness, her tourist group chattering excitedly behind her, 29 carefully selected individuals who looked, spoke, and acted exactly like the harmless sightseers they pretended to be. "Remember," she murmured to her second-in-command, Marcus Torres, who was adjusting his oversized camera, "we're here for the crystalline formations in Sector 7. Nothing more interesting than geological surveys." Marcus nodded, snapping pictures of the orbital defense platforms with the enthusiasm of someone documenting his vacation. Each image was being analyzed by military AI systems hidden in his camera's hardware, calculating structural weaknesses and defensive patterns. Dr. Elena Vasquez approached one of the Zelthran guards, her universal translator babbling in broken Zelthran. "Excuse me, honored warrior, might we observe the beautiful mining excavations? We have heard much of Zelthran efficiency." The guard's translator rendered his response as dismissive tolerance. These soft mammals were barely worth acknowledging. For 3 days, the humans wandered Kepler 442b with apparent aimlessness. They photographed sunsets, collected rock samples, and marveled at the Zelthran's massive strip mining operations that had turned a once verdant world into an industrial wasteland. What the Zelthrans didn't notice was the methodical precision of their movements, how every random photo captured critical infrastructure, how their innocent questions revealed patrol schedules, personnel numbers, and supply chain vulnerabilities, how their seemingly clumsy interactions were mapping every defensive system. On the evening of the 3rd day, Captain Chen made her final report to Commander Torres as they sat around their camp, roasting synthetic rations and sharing travel stories for the benefit of any listening devices. "The sunset here is magnificent," she said, her words carrying double meaning. "I think we've seen everything we need to see. We should prepare for tomorrow's departure." The attack began at 0347 local time, during the Zelthran's deepest sleep cycle. What the occupiers had dismissed as crude human technology revealed its true nature in the darkness. The tourists' camping gear unfolded into advanced weapon systems. Their geological samples were high-yield explosives positioned at structural weak points. Their cameras had been mapping target coordinates for orbital strikes from the human fleet, waiting in the system's outer darkness. Captain Chen moved through the Zelthran command center like a shadow made flesh, her ceramic blade finding the gaps in alien armor with surgical precision. Around her, her team eliminated sentries with the quiet efficiency of apex predators. The first the Zelthrans knew of the attack was when their orbital platforms began exploding in brilliant flowers of light against the starfield. High Commander Vexthul awakened to emergency klaxons and dying communications. His command center was dark, filled with the metallic scent of Zelthran blood. In the emergency lighting, he could see human shapes moving with terrifying purpose. "Impossible," he gasped, reaching for his sidearm. "You're just tourists." Captain Chen emerged from the shadows, her combat suit a far cry from the colorful civilian clothing she'd worn days earlier. In her hand, she carried a collection sack that dripped dark fluid. "Tourism is about experiencing local culture," she said, her voice carrying the cold efficiency of a professional soldier. "We've learned quite a lot about yours." The message that reached Zelthran High Command 3 days later was brief and to the point. The humans of Earth formally notify the Zelthran Empire that your illegal occupation of 17 worlds in the Kepler system has been terminated. Your forces have been neutralized with extreme prejudice. We return your commander's remains as evidence of our commitment to diplomatic courtesy. We suggest you update your intelligence files. Humans are no longer classified as harmless tourists. We are something far more dangerous, concerned neighbors with a functioning travel industry. Any future incursions into systems containing sentient life will be met with immediate and overwhelming response. We trust this clarifies any confusion about human territorial ambitions. The sightseeing tours will continue. The sack containing the heads of 37 Zelthron commanders was delivered to their embassy on Proxima Station by a smiling human courier who insisted on taking a selfie with the Zelthron ambassador before departing. The Galactic Council updated humanity's classification that same day. Species of extreme concern. Do not engage under any circumstances. The humans continued their tourism programs across the galaxy, their colorful transport ships visiting worlds both occupied and free. Wherever they went, oppressed populations found their chains mysteriously broken and their oppressors mysteriously headless. The universe learned a valuable lesson. Never dismiss the tourists. They might be conducting a different kind of business than you think.